Hi guys, welcome back to the weird side of YouTube. I'm your host, author DC Knipe, and this is The Writing Rainbow, the show where I talk about all kinds of writing, where I give writing advice, talk about the writing of books, movies, TV shows, video games. I talk about genres and break them down for you, or tropes. Basically, I just talk about writing because I love writing. And today, as you can tell by the title of the video, we are talking about all things romance. Love is in the air. It is romance season. Cupid has his little bow out and he's fluttering around trying to make you fall in love with someone that's terrible for you. And I thought that we could use the distraction from the fact that our country is burning down before our eyes. So today we are going to do the rights and wrongs of romance. Let's get weird. And Theodore is here with me today in his Valentine's Day outfit, which is heart boxers and a little faggot harness that I made for him. We're matching. And he would like to say some things about his romance. He is from my novel Dream. He is not a teddy bear in the novel, but he is the romantic love interest for my main character. He is a rabe, which is a term that I made up, which is like a humanoid bear. He looks like a human, except he has bare ears and a tail and claws, and that's how he fights. But yeah, he is kind of opposites attract with Dante. Dante is very kind of mousy and timid at first. He goes through a lot of character development, spoiler. But that's how he is at first, and Theodore is very tough and likes to fight and very protective over him. They start out as friends to lovers. Well, when they first meet, Dante doesn't remember him, but when he starts to remember him, they were friends as kids, and then they become lovers. And I love this story because it is very inspired by my childhood in the 90s. Theodore talks in a lot of 90s slang, like he says dope and chill and stuff like that. He also makes a lot of references to 90s celebrities and music. And, but yeah, he's basically like the ideal boyfriend, in my opinion. He is very protective. He is horny as fuck, and he loves Dante very much. And I think that even though they have their share of problems in this story, that their romance is pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. But yeah, Theodore wanted to pop on and say he is the product of a romance novel. First, I would like to say that this is not just for romance novels. This is for any kind of romantic elements in any kind of your writing. So this is your one-stop shop for all things romance. And to get started, we need to make some choices. If you are sitting down and you want to write a romance novel or some romantic elements, you have some choices. There are multiple paths you can take. First, is it going to be erotica, or what I call puppy love, which is more Disney-esque, family-friendly romance. Erotica is erotic. It's very detailed, sexual, sometimes romantic, sometimes not. But in the sense of this video, I'm assuming that it's going to be romantic. It all depends on personal preference. Both of them sell pretty well if you're trying to sell your work. The next is queer or cishet. Is your main couple going to be queer, 2 men, 2 women, or a trans person, or 2 trans people and a cis person? Or is it going to be the walking default setting of a man and a woman, cisgender, heterosexual? No offense. But I'm tired of those kind of romances. They are boring. I've seen them all my life, and I'm not interested in seeing another cis-het white couple falling in love again. No offense. Next is, are you choosing monogamy or polyamory? Now, I am not polyamorous myself. I've tried it. It's not for me. But they seem to be a lot more, polyamorous people seem to be a lot more prevalent in today's society than ever before. Maybe that's just because I wasn't really looking for them before, but I see them everywhere on Facebook, on YouTube. There's videos everywhere of people talking like triads and thruples, talking about how their relationships work and how it's not much different from being in a monogamous relationship. And love is love and everything and all that's well and good, but I still don't see many romance stories or romantic elements in stories where there are like a triad or a throuple or I think a polycule is another term they come up with. I think that's four individuals in a relationship. And I think I don't even write that myself. I don't even think about it. So I think it would be cool if we all started being like more poly-minded when it comes to writing and being creative, because it would definitely get a lot more new eyes, a new audience on our work. And just writing new things is fun. So I like the idea of writing new things and challenging myself in that way. Maybe it won't be good enough to sell, maybe it will. Who knows? But expanding your mind, challenging yourself in that kind of way is always good for any kind of artist. So take your pick. If you want it to be monogamous, classic, one person and one person, or maybe you want to open your mind a little bit, go, new age, old school, whatever you want to call it, because I'm pretty sure it was around a long time ago as well. But whatever you want to do. The next choices you're going to have to make are romantic genres. They're obviously in the world and in the world of literature and any kind of writing. There's 1,000 kinds of different romances, including, polyamorous, monogamous, but this is the genre. So there's lots of genres, and I'm sure young adult fans, if you're watching this, you would know. The first one I have listed here is Strangers to Lovers, which is my personal favorite. It's literally just strangers meet, fall in love right away. No friendship, no nothing. It's just passion. Kind of love at first sight, but not really, because that doesn't really work. It's not realistic, but in the sense that, like, maybe lust at first sight because you think they're hot. That is realistic, actually. The next is Enemies to Lovers, which is hot as well. You hate someone, and the sexual tension is so palpable that you end up just boning in front of, like, the preacher at the church. I don't know. Something. Enemies to lovers, you hate them. That could mean, like, literally anything. They could be, like, an enemy in a war, or they could just be, like, from a different, like, religion, and you could, like, be taught to hate them or something, or your main character could be taught to hate the other person. Enemies to lovers can be very hot given the circumstances surrounding the story. The next is Friends to Lovers, which is really sweet and innocent and cute. A lot of people like to write high school sweethearts that are friends, then like best friends, and then, they fall in love, which is really cute, and I like that one as well. Next one is kind of sort of like Enemies to Lovers, but it has a new layer on it. It's Forbidden Love. Think Romeo and Juliet, warring families, people from different tribes, if you're writing a fantasy novel. Basically the classic Romeo and Juliet story where their love is just, they're star-crossed. There's no way they can ever be together. It's against all odds. There's no way they can survive a relationship, that kind of thing. Which can be hot, but it's also usually kind of tragic, given, Romeo and Juliet vibes. But, maybe they'll have a happily ever after. It's your story. That's up to you. The next is Second Chance Romance, which I've seen a lot of people, I don't know if it's misused, this term, but there's two different definitions of this term that I've seen. The first one, Second Chance Romance, is two people that were together before reunite and fall back in love together. The second is someone that had a relationship before that failed has a second chance at love with a new person, or their lover passed away and they have a second chance with a new person. I'm not sure which one is the original definition of that, but they both work. Second chance romance is always having loved and lost and then finding love again, which is also really hopeful and cute and pretty for a story. The next one is Fake Relationship. This is kind of like a 90s trope and early 2000s trope in movies where someone is a bet, or they're like, there's also I think the first season of Bridgerton where the two main characters are faking their relationship to get everyone off their backs from trying to hook them up with people, and they end up falling in love. It's also, as I said, like the 90s movie genre of someone's a bet. I bet you can't make her hot and popular, and then the person like pretends to date her, and then she does become hot and popular, and then he falls in love with her. It's basically like that, just any kind of like fake relationship where you're pretending to be together, whether it's to make like your ex jealous or the person that you're in love with at first in the first part of the novel jealous, or just fake it till you make it, I guess. And they always end up falling in love. That's how it always happens. Now, these are the do's and don'ts of writing romance. No love triangles. People are sick, sick, sick to death of love triangles. They are very, very annoying and stupid. I think that love triangles can be done well, in my opinion, if they all end up together. All three of them end up together, whether that's bisexual or gay or heterosexual. Well, obviously not heterosexual, but lesbian, gay men, whatever. I think love triangles could work if they all end up together at the end in like a, polyamorous three-way relationship. Other than that, I just think it's kind of a waste and annoying because you're just putting people through trauma for really no reason. And if your whole book is just the romance and you want two characters to end up together and not all three, why are you wasting my time making me read about, this other person that's not going to amount to anything later on? Like, that just kind of annoys me. That's one of the biggest things I don't like about Twilight now as an adult. It's really annoying. The next one is abuse isn't romantic. I get liking the whole bad boys thing. I have a thing for bad boys myself. I always have. But bad boys shouldn't be bad to the people that they care about. They should be bad to other people and protective of the people that they care about, but they should not be mean or abusive or angry toward the person that they love. That's not a bad boy, that's just an asshole. So, I see this a lot, especially in young adult romance novels, which is kind of sad because young adult, I'm going to have a whole video on this. Young adult doesn't mean adult. Most people that are reading young adult books are 14, 15-year-olds. Do not tell a 14 and 15-year-old that it's romantic for a boy to hit her. That's super fucked. Don't do that. The next one is trauma bonding isn't love. You have two people, let's say they were in a fantasy novel, they were taken as prisoners of war. They fall in love while they're being like tortured by the other side of the war or whatever, but that's not really love, is it? Because they're so traumatized that they don't really know what they're feeling. They're just latching on to someone near them because they want to feel something other than the pain. So and that is trauma bonding, but there's also a little side piece to this that I want to talk about. When two people kind of like each other and it's like all of a sudden the end of the world and they think they're going to die, don't have them tell each other that they love each other. Don't have them tell each other that, don't have them kiss each other. Don't have them do anything, because they don't really know that's what they're feeling. They're feeling so many emotions that they probably are, like I said, just trying to latch on to something in that moment to feel something. That doesn't mean they love each other. That doesn't mean they actually want to kiss each other. That is one thing that I actually like about modern romances, is a lot of, as in fantasy books and fantasy movies, is that a lot of times one of the characters will want to do that and the other one will stop them because they don't know what that's really what they're feeling. They're just scared and they don't want to lose everything. So wait until everything is over and they win the battle and they have each other, so that way they'll know for sure that they're meant to be. And I can't believe I forgot this part, considering I hate it, but another no-no in romance is love at first sight. I know that's cute in Disney and cute and pretty and blah, 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 but it's not real. It's more infatuation or lust, and I believe as a writer we should be as realistic as possible. Not when it comes to like dragons and witches and shit, but like when it comes to relationships and how people react to each other. And love at first sight, as classic as it is, like as a fairy tale princess kind of trope, it's just not real. Love is developed over time as like an emotion of caring for someone. And I do believe love is real. I believe romance is real. I believe being in love is real. I just don't feel like you can get that just from looking at someone, because you have to know someone's heart and their mind and their soul to truly love them. And just seeing them, that's not love. That's just you want to bone them. Or you think they're pretty. That's not love. It's not. Sorry. Next one, I don't really like seeing. I already said that the heterosexual romance is kind of dead in the water at this point, in my opinion. I really don't like gender roles assigned to cishet couples. I don't really mind it as much with queer couples, because, you know, if you make one male lead interest, like the guy that cooks and cleans, it's still like a different gender role because he's a boy. But when it comes to cishet romance, if the girl is like needing to be saved all the time and she needs to, like, you know, she's a damsel in distress, it's just kind of annoying. And I forgot to put on my sunglasses. Here we go. This is better. But yeah, and the boy is always saving her ass and she's worthless. And a modern example of this would be Kairi from Kingdom Hearts. She's only ever really fought at the very end of the DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3. Every game other than that, she was kind of worthless and annoying, and Sora was always there to save her. Having a woman take care of a man while he's like fighting a war and she's like folding his fucking underwear. I have read books like this, like like she's waiting for him to come home, and there's usually like a love interest on the other, like with her, that's like a love triangle. That's like, we're not gonna get into it, but that's I don't understand why cishet women eat that shit up. Like, they love like the doting housewife that's like taking care of the house and the kids while the man's at war, but she's also having like a fleeting romance with the neighbor guy. Like, okay, that's romance for some people, I guess. That's just kind of gross to me, but whatever. For erotica specifically, my opinion, I don't like vulgarity in my sex scenes. I don't know how to say it without sounding gross, but I'm gonna sound gross anyway. I don't like it when like a dude is like, "You like that cock?" when I'm reading a book or something, or like him talking about how her boobies are bouncing while he's pounding her. I think like he says like tits, or like mostly gross cuss words to describe like sexual organs, or like them having dialogue during the scene. It makes me cringe. This is my opinion. You might disagree. Some people like the vulgarity and get turned on by it. I understand that. I don't. I find it disgusting. When I write erotic love scenes, it's very flowery, very metaphorical, very pretty, poetic. Like, instead of saying he was fucking her against the wall, I would say he had tenderly pressed her against the wall and was, I don't know, caressing her body with his own. Something pretty like that. Obviously, it doesn't really sound like they're fucking per se, but I think that sounds prettier and less in your face about it. I also like to say make love instead of fucking, because it just sounds prettier. I don't really write sex scenes unless the two characters are in love with each other, because I don't see the point, really. I've seen a lot of books, especially erotica books and TV shows and movies, where characters just fuck for no reason and then never do it again. And I get that happens in real life, but my heart and my brain don't work like that. I've never wanted to just fuck somebody and then just be friends with them or never see them again. That's weird for me. Not that I haven't done it. I have, and then I regretted it. But I'm digressing again. Along with that is heterosexual romance has a lot of really boring sex acts. Like, the kinkiest thing I think cishet women think that men can do is like cunnilingus, which is really not kinky at all. Or they think that like butt stuff and anal sex is super kinky, which it's not. As a gay man, I can tell you a lot of cishet romance is extremely pedestrian. A lot of people thought that like 50 Shades of Grey was super kinky. It wasn't. It didn't even do BDSM right. The person that wrote it as a BDSM fan fiction of Twilight, and you can tell in a lot of scenes. The BDSM references and how they explain that it works in the book is not BDSM. I'm not going to get into it because I have a whole video in my head about, I'm probably not going to make one, about how crappy that movie series and book series represents the BDSM community, but that's neither here nor there. The point of this rant is that a lot of cishet romance lacks erotica, which is funny because a lot of cishet romance is mostly erotica. Like, most female readers I've met in the modern day now read exclusively erotic romance, but but they're like, it's freaky, you would love it, and then I try to read it and I'm like, this is the most basic shit I've ever read in my life. I wrote shit like this when I was in middle school. But I mean, they think it's kinky, so good for them. For puppy love / young adult romance, do not do detailed sex scenes. Never. Like I said, young adult does not mean adult. It's 14, 15-year-old girls. No detailed sex scenes. You can say they made love. Fade to black is what a lot of writers refer to it as, or just give the hint that something happened and don't actually say it. No detailed sex scenes. I think this should be obvious, but a lot of people don't realize that young adult doesn't mean adult. It means young teenager. Which I do not like. I don't like that it's called young adult when it's not adult, but that's neither here nor there. Alright, we are now in the do's, the right side of romance. So, we have to do chemistry. There has to be palpable sexual tension. There has to be chemistry. That doesn't mean, like, they're going to be fighting or whatever. It can. You can be enemies to lovers, like I said, but there has to be some kind of chemistry. They have to either get along, whether that's, like, playing with each other, picking with each other, like, sassy, like, jabs back and forth, or there's just kind of an air between them that, you know, all the other characters can pick up on, like, ooh, you know what I mean? But you also have to have that when they're alone. How they react to each other, how if it's a first person story, how they think about the other, like, especially when you're, like, describing their appearance in the point of view of your main character, you have to, like, keep in mind what kind of words they would use, how they would describe them, their physical appearance, if they were, like, severely attracted to them. Next, they have to have things in common. I know opposites attract, I get that, but you can still be, like, token opposites and still have things in common. Like, let me make something up off the top of my head. You can be a mousy male librarian and a biker dude, and you both seem very, very opposite, but you're both very attracted to each other. But turns out the biker dude is kind of sensitive and likes to read, so they have something in common. There you go. That could be a good romance novel right there. Next is attraction. I've already kind of talked about this, but you need to talk about how they're attracted to each other, what kind of parts they're attracted to each other. Not like body parts, but, like, they should be attracted to their appearance, but they should also be attracted, like, parts of their personality, whereas the biker could like the innocence of the librarian, and the librarian could like the toughness of the biker. People don't really realize how attractive personality traits can be, especially when it comes to writing. You need to detail all of this for it to be really fleshed out in terms of a romance. The last one for the do's for both erotic and puppy love romance is fun. They need to have fun together. They need to laugh. They need to enjoy each other's company. Basically, just, I know friendship to lovers isn't like every genre, but there needs to be a good foundation of, like, some kind of caring for each other before sex and love comes into the equation. It doesn't mean you have to be friends first, but I think that a good foundation for love and a relationship and a romance is just having fun with each other. It's enjoying spending time with each other, because if you don't, then what's the point? You know? For erotica specifically, do beautiful and flowery love scenes, like I said, in my opinion. I like that. I would expect cis-het women to enjoy that as well, but apparently a lot of them just like the really vulgar, raunchy stuff, which is fine. And for puppy love, talk about butterflies in your character's stomach, how nervous they are, everything is new and exciting. A lot of things that young adult romances do have, and I think it makes it more realistic for like a first love kind of relationship, is like in Romeo and Juliet, when all of a sudden they're each other's whole entire world and nothing else matters. That is realistic because teenagers worship each other basically when they're in a relationship. All that matters to them is each other and being together. So that's always a plus for young adult first romance books. But like I said, anything can become toxic. That can become toxic. But as far as like first love romances go, it is realistic. So I do enjoy reading that. But that's all the do's and don'ts, the rights and wrongs of romance I have for today. I actually wanted to make a different video about romance for Valentine's Day this year called Love is Dead, and how much I fucking hate cis-het romance. But I think I got enough of that in this video today, because I kind of wanted to focus on something positive more in the light of, like, you know, everything that's going on, because like I said, our country is burning down before our eyes, and I thought that focusing on something positive, having a little sprinkle of the funny romance is dead, cis-het shit is boring, but for the most part focusing on positive love and light kind of stuff, because I think we all kind of need that. But yeah, that's all I have for today for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell me if you agreed with some of these, tell me if you didn't, tell me if I'm full of shit in the comments, because any kind of comment boosts my viewership. So leave 500 comments about you think I'm ugly. I will love that. Thank you. But like I was saying, check out my Patreon, link in the description, if you want to support me. I have 3 tiers there. I don't remember the prices, but I also have a shop called prismaticdreams.com. I make art and put it on everything. We're also making hats now and all kinds of cool stuff. Check it out. But other than that, I love you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.